Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Rainbow Six Siege video. In today's video, I'm going to show you where every psycho mask is in the entire game of Rainbow Six Siege. Before I start though, if you guys do play like Fortnite or Rocket League, consider using the code PLEBWORLD in the item shop. It does help me. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting on house here, the first one is right here. Right, if you want to spawn on Front Street, there's the mask right there. Next, you want to come into the car room right here. And if you prone, there's the second mask right there, right underneath the bedroom. Now the last mask on house is right here. You just want to come to the garage door, go prone, and it should be right underneath this little container thingy here. Hopping into Outback here, the first one's going to be an office. You just want to break this right here. As you can see, there's the first mask right there. And then the second one is really close by in the shark's mouth. Now this one's going to be hard to see unless you throw like a camera in there or something, but it's in that mouth. Let's see if I can get a drone in. And now the last mask on Outback is impossible to get unless you bank like a nade in there or something. You want to come to this truck right beside the gas station. You can't get a drone in there, but it's right at the foot pedals. You can't get a drone in at all, so you have to see this one in replay, but there's the third one on Outback. Now the first one here is in Small Tower on Oregon. You just want to prone. It should be right there underneath the little toolbox. Next one, you want to come into Junkyard Spawn, and you want to come to the right side. You want to find this van here. You just want to look, and it should be right there in spawn. Lastly, this one's in Master Bedroom. It's just going to be right on top of this little closet here. That's all three on Oregon. Now on plane, you want to come to the back of the plane here. Look for this little ladder, walk up on this truck. Prone, and it should be right underneath this right there. Now if you come inside the plane here, you want to come up that back ladder, and you want to break this panel right here, and it should be, you can see the eyes from back there. There's the eyes right inside there. And then the last one here, you want to come up to the third little cockpit area. It's going to be right behind this little duffel bag, so you just want to pull up your drone, see right there. So you just, there we go. Alright, now on Clubhouse, this one's going to be in the warehouse spawn, just super easily to find, right underneath the stairs there. So after that, you want to run into the garage, and it'll be right here. You just want to look for this little wall here, and it'll be right up there. And then the last one's in Logi. You just want to come to the wall here, right from the hatch drop, and it should be right there on the shelf. As you can see, there's the glowing eyes. Alright, on Consulate here now, all you want to do is look for these crates at the back of like the riot barricade spawn. It should be right there. Next, you want to come into admin. It's right there. You can see how this little hallway. Right there. And then last one here, you want to come to like the top, like the little yellow stairs here. It should be on this double door right there. And that's all three on Consulate. Hopping into bank here, you want to spawn on back alley and come up the ladder here. I should have brought an ACOG, but it's right there. As you can see, the glowing lights right there. See if I can get a drone up. It might break, but no. There's the mask right there. Next, you want to come inside the lobby here. You can see it from the rappel easier, but it's right on top of the speaker. Right there. I don't have a drone anymore, but it's right there. I wish I could show it better. If you go 0, you can definitely see it, but I promise you it's on that speaker right there. And then you want to come to the front desk area here, where Banana is basically, and you just want to jump through the windows, and it should be right there. That's the third one on back. Alright, now on Kanal. First you want to spawn probably like the front area right here, and you want to just come through this window. And then come into archives, there's the first one right there. Next you want to come into printer and break these little files here. And there's the second one. And then you want to jump outside that printer window. And this one is super hard to see. You need an ACOG, and it's right there. As you can see, I can't really ping it, but it's right there. So you just want to look for like this tower here. Work down, it's right there. Coming into Chalet, you want to come to this little gazebo here. And this one is insanely hidden. As you can see, it's right there. So you want to come to this first chair. Put your crosshairs at this first tree, and it should be right there. Next, you want to come into car garage. And it should just be in the sink here, right through this door walk in here. And then lastly, you want to come into the library, and it should be right there, right above the double window. Okay, all you want to do is walk into this VIP area here. you want to jump on top of these little server thingies. These little table thingies, moving tables, and it should be right there. And then you want to come to the roof. And you want to look on this opposite building, and it should be right there. There it is, right. And then all you want to do is drop skylight. Break these wine bottles here. And there's the third one right there. Now on Yacht, if you spawn in the Zodiac spawn and turn around, come to the boat here. There's the first one right underneath it. Next, you want to come into servers here. And it should be on top of the server rack. You just want to throw a drone up there. There it is right there. Can't see it from a distance. You're probably going to have to whip an impact or something if you want to break it. I'm going to come into kitchen. Come to the pantry. Look behind the two like big pieces of meat. That should be right there. Now on border here, you want to spawn in the west vehicle exit. Look for this car. There's back door open. There's the first one. You then want to come into half wall here. Should be right at the back of it with this garbage can. And then you want to come into tellers. Come into this little sandwich area here. Should be right behind this duffel bag. And there's all three on border. On Favela here, you want to find where, like this little, where the hopscotch is. You know, come up to the roof. Kind of looks like this. Should be right there on the balcony. Now next two are pretty close to each other. You want to come into pink kitchen. And it literally should just be right there. Break the cereal. And then you want to come to the room behind it. To grow room. It should be right behind the box. There's the third one. Now on Skyscraper, you want to come to the shrine balcony here. You want to look for this one right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down from the top. And then you want to come into exhibition. There's one right there. And then you want to work your way to drum. It should be right underneath the drum. You can see there's the glowing eyes. There he is. Now on Coastline, you want to come up to ruins. And it should be right there. On top of that tower. And then you want to come into VIP. It should be behind these books here. Right there, there's the second one. And then you want to drop into kitchen.
You have located a bomb.
And it should be behind these shelves here. And there's the third one. Alright, now in theme park, you want to come to the top of the roof from the front spawn. And you want to look right at this sign right by the roller coaster. As you can see, there's the glowing eyes right there. And that's where you can shoot it. As you can see, it's no longer glowing. That's it right there. And then you want to come into offices. And it should be right there from behind this little wine rack or bar. And then you want to run downstairs, come into maintenance, and you want to find this bumper car here, thrown, and it should be right there. Now tower. Tower's a little bit of a confusing map if you haven't played in a while. You want to find this little offices area here. And you want to find this flipped over desk. And you want to come into this supply room, and the map should be right there. Next, you want to come into the gift shop, and you want to break this like red thing. On this, you can see like the posters here. And there's the second mask. And then the last one, this one's hard to find. It's going to be hard to get in cash and stuff. You want to drop from the top and come all the way down to this little area here, this little balcony. Sort of near the cheating bar. And then you want to look down, and it should be right in that bush area. So you want to come to ruins. Hopping into Villa, you want to spawn at the wishing well area, ruins. And then you want to find these two faces on the far right. Oh, can't see it anymore. There's the mask. And there's the first one. And then you want to come into 90. And you want to break this wall, not this wall, this little cabinet. And there's the second one. And then you want to come into the art storage here. So you want to come through the door, see the default. You want to walk straight. And you look for this painting on the floor. Just break it. As you can hear, I broke it. There's the mask right there. You can sort of see it. There it is right there. Now in Fortress, you want to come from this spawn point onto the roof. You just want to look right there. There's the first one on this little tower wall. And then you want to come to this little Trojan horse area. And you want to see this sword here. And then you just want to break it open. And there's the second one. And then you want to run into the infirmary. You want to find this eye test here. And then you can see it is right there in the desk. Alright, now on Emerald Plains, you want to come to the roof. And then you want to find this little extra thing you can climb up. on the right side from standing off of it. And you want to look at this castle little thing here. If you get in the right angle, there's the first one. And then you want to come into the library from the hunting area. You want to break these books, and there's the second one right there. Then you want to run into the bathroom area, toilets. This is sort of what the hall looks like right beside kitchen. And you want to come to the first toilet, shoot it open. And I've blocked it again, but you can see the mask there. There's the third one. Now on Stadium Bravo, you want to go under the map and find where it says West. And then you want to look right here. There's the first one, right underneath this like control panel thing. And then you want to come into Armory, into the little box area. Look right behind the computer, and there's the second one right there. And then you want to run right into Kitchen, come into Service Entrance, hop up onto this table, and there's the third one behind the kegs. Now in Nighthaven Labs, you probably want to spawn Park. And the first one's going to be right behind this sign. You just got to get to an angle. There it is right there, behind the Nighthaven Labs sign.
No.
And then you want to come into the kitchen. And you want to come right to the little like full kitchen area from cafeteria. And it should be right behind this pot. There's the second one. And then you want to make your way to the like control room area. So just right in through here. It's going to be in this room here. So just make your way, jump over, and you're just going to have to shoot these boxes. And it should be right there. There's the second one. Or third one. Hopping into Lair, you want to come to the roof. Now, I know people don't like this map, so they might not know it as well. But you want to come to the roof. There's the drop-off where you can rappel down. And you want to look for the square like this. It looks like this. And you want to look right there. There's the first one above this like little door area. Then you want to come into the main top site in Master Office area. You want to find this table with the chessboard. And then if you crouch, there's the mask and the desk. Lastly, you want to make your way down to the basement in lockers. And then there's going to be towels, like, or shirts or whatever. You just want to break it. It's going to be on this one right here. Third one from the left. And there's the third mask. Alright, now lastly, on Stadium 2020, you want to spawn east. This one's really hard to find. You want to find this, like, huge post. I guess not that hard. You want to find that post. And there it is right there in the stands. And then you want to come upstairs into master bedroom. Sort of like, it's the Oregon map, basically. So you want to come up the main stairs. Come to the master bedroom. You want to see this little closet table thingies. And there is the second one. Basically the exact same as the other Oregon one. Alright, for the last mask, all you want to do is come into piano. It's in your classroom, so you want to come through the classroom, come to the hall. It's going to be in here. You want to find this piano on the left, and you want to shoot it open. And there's the final mask. And that should be every single mask of the Borderlands. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. Make sure to share with your friends. And be sure to use my code in the item shops on any Epic games, as it really helps me. And thanks for watching.